Bears.
Well, hello, welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. I used to have a guy that used to weed whack for me. He would do my cabin and my neighbor's cabin, and it was kind of lucrative for him because he would charge us 55 bucks each and come out here about once every week, every 2 weeks. It's a little bit of a strange story. Our weed whacker was here one day and the renters next door had their car out. When they came out to their car later, they noticed one of the windows had shattered. And we determined that it was the weed whacker that broke that window, and our neighbor confronted the guy after he had left, and we've never heard from him again. He fell off the face of the earth, so now I'm scrambling to get somebody to do weed whack for us. Now my cleaner also upped their price quite a bit, almost 25%, and their reason for it, they said, were the gas prices. And I was hesitant at first to go along with it, but then I told her, I said, if you're going to raise it that high, I'm going to buy one of these, and then you guys, once in a while, I'm going to count on you to police this area and do the weed whacking for me. That way I'm not paying somebody else about $150 to $200 a month to do it. So she agreed with that. I told her when I'm down here, I'll take care of it, but they really only need to do it maybe once a month at that. And if I have some renters that I know that they volunteered to also do it. So it should work out and save a little money and be a wash in the long run. One thing we've always had issues with is our cover. We've never really had an easy way of getting it off and on, and it's in very tight quarters. So we're going to try to put this little assister on when you're taking the cover off, and hopefully make it easier for renters to take it off and on. One thing is that we are in tight quarters, and it does require a certain amount of distance from the back, so I'm not positive if it's going to work for us. Now it's our first full day here. It's a Saturday, and we like to knock out our chores on the weekends because it's a little too busy if we want to do something in town. We just did a dry fit. It doesn't appear that you really have to drill anything into the deck or into the hot tub itself. It really just uses the weight of the hot tub when the water's in it to hold everything in place.
Get my name in?
While working on this little project, we noticed that the hot tub cover needed a little bit better of a cleaning. It was starting to stain the top of our hot tub again, so we're going to clean that and get back to work.
Does that stuff smell?
Even though all the water's out of the hot tub, it's still going to be a little difficult to slide this underneath. I'm going to try to lift it, and Karen's going to slide it.
Careful, please. Do we have to go all the way? Yeah. Right,
The other side is in even tighter quarters, and I'm going to have to lift and slide by myself.
Okay.
Nope.
You might notice the dust all over the hot tub cover, and that's pollen, and if we clean it off today, it'll be right back again tomorrow. This time of year, there's just a lot of stuff coming off the pine trees. Now, of course, being 30 feet off the ground and having cracks in the deck means that something is going to fall through, and this was a washer that came through, and I kind of went down here to see if I was going to find it, but it turns out it wasn't a hopeless cause after all. This palm-sized ratchet is probably one of my favorite tools that Ridgid makes. I use it all the time. Alright, here's the moment of truth. In the instructions, we needed about 3 more inches in the back of the hot tub there that they required. We thought we could see if we could squeak by. I could force it and get it down, but it's just too wonky if we were to have guests doing this on a daily basis. So it's hard for us to move the hot tub forward as the electric comes directly from the bottom, so it's not like you can move the hot tub around. But without drilling into the decking, Karen came up with the idea of just drilling into the hot tub itself and just remove enough materials that we could slide the hot tub and keep the electric wire where it is.
Now remember, it was my, and I look hideous, it was my idea.
Okay, that helps. It's a little bit easier. It's still going to take 2 people probably to lift it back up, but I think it'll be a little bit easier than it was before. While doing that, it was a great time just to clean up the hot tub. Karen is trying out a new tool on our blinds inside to dust them. We noticed last visit that there was a couple tears in the couch, and the couch is not that old. Karen brought her sewing kit, and then we also noticed that there were some staples that came loose or popped through, and that was the culprit for why these cushions are
I don't
tearing.
know why it has that.
While working on the hot tub, we noticed a bird up there making a nest, and we thought maybe we should get rid of it before there are any eggs in it. Never mind. A few weeks ago, we got a call from a renter saying that the arcade game wasn't working properly, that one of the select buttons wasn't working. Last time I had this serviced by someone else, they came out and changed the joystick and it was $200, and that's the last time I was going to call them. A lot of these parts are very cheap. This is just a little contact switch that goes into one of the buttons, and that contact switch is probably about $1. So if I were to call somebody to come out and they change that out, I'm probably looking at $150, $200 just for their time, their transportation. So I keep a couple of these on hand so I can change out the joysticks, the switches, and save a little money. We're back up and running. I'll have to give it a little test here, maybe about an hour, hour and a half, just to be on the safe side. End of the weekend, we've got most of our chores out of the way, which is great, which means that we can maybe enjoy ourselves a little bit in the park. We still have a few odds and ends to do that we can handle on a daily basis, mostly just stocking up on things. So Monday morning, it's a good time to get out, a little less crowded, and we stopped by our favorite place for breakfast, Crockett's. Crockett's is right next to the National Park entrance, so we headed into the Cades Cove area, which is a pretty neat area. It has a lot of the old homesteads still standing, some churches, some old schoolhouses, cemeteries. There's a lot of wildlife to be seen around here. If you ever do venture around here, it's going to take you about 3-4 hours just to drive through the loop area, a little bit longer if you stop at some of the attractions. And don't be surprised if you run into the occasional bear jam. A newer area that we're starting to frequent more often is called the Mountain Mile. It's got little attractions, of course a lot of touristy stuff, and some nice restaurants. Junction 35 is one we particularly like because it's pet friendly and we can bring Willow along with us. Have a majority of our workload out of the way. It's been a nice relaxing week. We decided to spend an afternoon up in Anakeesta, which is a very unique tourist, I don't want to say tourist trap, but out of all the attractions around here in Gatlinburg, I would say that this is one that is definitely worth the money. You can access it in a few different ways. You could take the ski chair like we do. They also have gondolas that you could take. And lastly, there's a shuttle. The chairlift takes about 20 minutes from bottom to top, and it will stop periodically to let passengers onto the gondolas. Once you get up top, you have beautiful views of the backside of the mountain, beautiful views of Gatlinburg. They usually decorate it for the season. This time of year it's decorated for the spring, lots of flowers. We've been here in the fall when they've decorated for fall. It's very beautiful. They'll do a nice job for Christmas, and we've never been here in the summertime. But it's a pretty cool place to spend a couple hours. There's a couple restaurants up here. There's some food trucks. There's dessert places, ice cream stands, a lot of little walkways, a lot of places for selfies and photo ops. When you come up here, you get a wristband, and that wristband is good for the whole day. So if you want to come up and then go back down into Gatlinburg and then come back up to see the sunset, it's just a neat way to spend an afternoon or an evening or both. just a brief overview of our week. We're probably not going to be coming down here for a while, maybe until January, and that's going to be a long time. If we work it out right, we might have friends help take care of some of the burden of restocking things throughout the year. We'll just play it by ear. But I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos, and keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.
Thank y'all so much.